as strong farming country. However, you don't need me to tell you that farming has been in the doldrums for some time now. However, just outside the town here, a farmer has been leading the way in developing what he sees as what you might call an alternative farm enterprise with great potential. And our Geraldine Harney has been down to an apple farm to see the extent of that potential for herself.
On the outskirts of Cahir, in the beautiful heartland of Tipperary, you will find the home and business of the Trass family. Here Contras, with the help of his parents William and Ali, together with the hard-working workforce, runs a thriving fruit enterprise, the majority of which are apples. The business and the family are very much part of the local community.
Well, it started in the 1960s. My parents came here from Holland at the time. I suppose after that they started getting more and more into apples through the mid-80s, and at that time I started going to college. I went to UCD and I did a horticulture degree there, and after that I came back here to start farming, and the apples have just been going better and better over the years. So that's where we are now. I suppose we've got about 35 acres of apples and some other fruits as well. The apple industry in Ireland is quite small. There's probably only about 40 growers altogether, and there's about 1,500 acres. So it's not a very big industry. It would supply perhaps only 5% of the total Irish market. So it's not a very big industry, but everyone knows each other, and it's a nice industry to be in from that perspective, because we're all like a small family.
They may be like a small family, but they do produce a large variety of apples.
Well, the first one we have in August is Discovery. After that we have Katie and James Grieve, Delbar Estival at the end of September. Then there would be Tipperary Pippin at this time of year, Elstar, John O'Gred. We also have Golden Delicious and Carmine, and Bramley's Cookers. That'd be the main ones I can think of at the moment. Well, the most widely grown one is the one that's right here, that's John O'Gred, and Elstar would be next most widely grown. They're late apples and they hold well, so there'll be more of those going. The early ones don't hold so long, so people wouldn't grow so many of them.
Now, unfortunately, despite the variety and the premium quality of Irish apples, only 5% of the apples consumed in this country are actually grown here.
Well, I suppose a lot of people would eat green apples for starters, and there aren't many green apples grown in Ireland, so you haven't got that segment of the market. So we're really competing in the red area, and then if you split up the year into two halves, the southern hemisphere are going to have fresh apples April onwards, April to August, shall we say. So those apples would probably have an advantage in terms of taste at that time of the year. So you're talking about half the market to start with, and then you're competing against very large operations in France and Italy and so on, who can produce very cheap.
With this in mind, Con and some of the other growers have got together to form Celtic Orchards.
Well, Celtic Orchards came into being because Irish apples hadn't a very strong presence on the supermarket shelves. So we thought that if we could get a brand out there that people could recognise, and if they enjoyed the apples, that they would be able to go back and get them again, because before that you would have Irish apples from one grower in the shop one week, from another grower another week. Some of them might be good, some of them might be bad. Sometimes there were foreign apples coming in being labelled as Irish, and it was a bit of a mess in the market. So that's why we began Celtic Orchards.
Two of the others involved in Celtic Orchards are growers Philip Little and Derek O'Dwyer.
The industry has been shrinking hugely in the last number of years with foreign imports, and the fact that we're, as growers, haven't been working together. And this Celtic Orchard is the first initiative in, must be 40 years, I'd say, or 30 years of growers coming together, working together, helping each other and trying to get a single brand name out into the shops and the supermarkets. And up to this year, we've been on a shrinking business all along.
We were lacking something like this, which had a brand name and something to motivate the business and bring the Irish product into the limelight for suppliers, because it has been overtaken by huge overseas supplies, even from China, from Holland and from France, and it's lost its place in the market until this initiative.
And what are you hoping will come out of this initiative? Where do you see the percentage of Irish sales, say, in 5 years' time?
I would hope it would treble in 5 years, which is quite ambitious. But I would also hope that what would come from it is that people would appreciate that they can buy fruit on the basis of flavour, which is what they should do, and which is what we're marketing our fruit on, because it does taste wonderful. It's very, very fresh. It's picked in the orchard yesterday and it's on the shelf today.
The Celtic Orchards initiative is supported by the state agency responsible for food promotion in Ireland, Bord Bia.
We would feel that the apples that are put under the Celtic Orchards brand are of the finest quality, and certainly the consumers who tasted them would have felt that they were a superior taste to the imported apples that they were used to every day.
Superquinn are currently the only supermarket chain supporting Celtic Orchards.
We just felt that the Celtic Orchards brand and the quality of the apples themselves lent themselves to being carried in our stores. We're very happy to carry it as an Irish brand, but the fact that the quality was so good and the eating quality and the look of the apple was so good, we decided that we'd give it a go. And I think the feedback I'm getting is that we've sold more in the last 3 weeks than we did probably 2 months last year. So sales are really, really going well. The Irish public are really taking to the apple.
Hopefully a growth industry, and with any luck